Straight all day.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That's the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, including you, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show, one audio masterclass. That's the one you're listening to right now. It is known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, how to fall in love with learning. Man, this is a nerdy topic right here. How to fall in love with learning in life. Now, I told you back in masterclass number 1290, we talked about when to choose learning over earning. When does it make sense to make sure you're getting more knowledge, skill, information, and experience over simply just choosing, wherever the money may be in a certain situation. But I've also read that studies have shown, I read this study that said this, 42% of college graduates, these are people who went to institutions of higher learning. They didn't just finish 12th grade and say, I'm done. They actually went to college, which cost them something, whether they had a scholarship, parents paid for it, or they paid out of pocket. It costs something to go to college. Public school, you can go for free, but college, somebody paying for it. They went to college, graduated. 42% of people who graduate from college never read another book after college. Now, I'm sure that number is probably even bigger for people who graduate from high school and don't even go on to college. But even the college graduates, and I know there's some listening to this, 42% never read another book. 80% of U.S. families did not buy nor read a book all of last year. Think about that one. 80% of families in the United States, no one bought a book, the whole family. So whether that's 2 people in the family, 5 people in the family, in that household, 80% of those households in the whole country, nobody bought a book, nor did anybody read a book. So they didn't even go to the library and borrow a book. All right? They didn't even go online and read one for free that they could download. Listen, you can read my book, Buy a Game, for free online. You don't have to buy it. You can get it for free. They didn't even do that. All right? 80%, 4 out of 5 U.S. families did not read a single book last year. Can you believe that? 70% of U.S. adults have not even entered. They have not physically been present inside of a bookstore in the last 5 years. Now that one, maybe you say, well, maybe because people are on Amazon. I mean, Amazon is technically a bookstore. I'm sure those same 70% have been on Amazon. So would Amazon count as a bookstore? This study was talking about a physical bookstore. So 70% of U.S. adults have not set foot inside of a bookstore in the last 5 years. Now, I don't go to bookstores that often, but I'll go to a bookstore at least once a year. 5 years, not one time set foot in the bookstore, that's crazy. 57% rather, of new books that people actually acquire, those books are not read to completion. Now, even though I'm giving you all these stats about books, let's be clear. Books are not the only way to learn in life, but I'm using books as a basic example for learning in general, because I think anyone who's interested in learning is probably going to read a book. I don't know too many people who are like, yo, I'm really hell-bent on learning. I want to learn a lot, but as long as it's not a book or anything other than books, I'm looking to learn. I've never heard anybody say that, and I don't know anyone who lives by that mantra. If someone wants to learn, they will read a book. If I tell them there's something to learn that they're interested in that is in a book, they'll read the book. Now, if it happens to be an online course that they need to go to a seminar or talk to a person one-on-one, they'll do that too. But anybody who wants to learn is going to be willing to pick up a book. And you're hearing these stats. People don't read. People don't pick up books. And the main reason is I'm connecting these. This is just an assumption that I'm making. So if I end up being wrong, I'll correct myself on a future episode of this show. Most people don't read. Those same people don't want to learn. They are not in love with learning. I don't know what they're in love with, but it ain't learning. Whatever, I don't know. Definition of learning is the acquisition of knowledge or skills through experience, study, or teaching. Let me get that definition once more. The acquisition of knowledge or skills through experience, study, or by being taught. Now, you can learn things just through experience of life. The challenge with learning through experience, which is a good thing to do, and I've recommended it many times here on the show. The challenge, however, of learning through experience is that there's only one you, which means every single thing you learn, you must experience it to learn it first. And you can only do one thing at a time. You can only physically do one thing at a time, right? Which means you can only learn one thing at a time, and you can only be in one place at a time. And you have a limit, even though you might, all right, that's fine. I'll just keep doing stuff and I'll keep learning stuff, Dre. No problem. Problem solved. Now, here's the problem is that you're on a time limit. You don't have forever to go and do everything and experience everything and learn through it. And on top of that, here's another part of that problem is that not every action you take, every experience you go through is going to result in a positive outcome, which means, let's just say half. Let's just say you're 55, you bat 500 when it comes to doing things for the first time and getting them right. And that would make you amazing if you're getting things right the first time, half the time. So half of the times you do things, you're going to learn, but you did not achieve the outcome. Now you got to go do it again and again and again before you figure it out and actually get it right. And 50% is very, very generous on how successful you're going to be the first time through on anything. You're going to run out of time. You're going to die before you learn everything that you need to know. So learning through experience alone is not a sustainable practice, which is why you don't hear too many people preaching about that. That's why so many people like me, have a master class. Well, most people don't have a master class like this, but people put out podcasts, people write books, people make videos and share what they share because they're trying to help people learn. Some people are trying to help people learn through methods that are much easier and much more efficient and take a much shorter time period than you going out and actually learning it yourself. The things that I talk about here through 1,400 plus episodes of this master class, I'm trying to shorten your learning curve. I learned a lot of these things through my own experience. I'm going to shorten your learning curve so you don't have to go through the same experiences to get the same learnings, because many of the things that I talk about here, I learned through things that didn't work, through failures. You shouldn't have to go through all of those because I went through them. All right, Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. Okay, the definition of learning. One more time, acquisition of knowledge or skills through experience, study, or by being taught. Today, I'm going to sell you on falling in love with learning. And of course, I'm going to tell you why you want to do such a thing. Why do you want to fall in love with learning? I mean, that sounds very geeky, very nerdy. Who would actually want to do that? I'm going to tell you why you would want to do that, okay? Point number one, today's topic, once again, how to fall in love with learning. Learning is exercise for the brain the same way the gym is exercise for the body. Now, you may be asking, okay, Dre, that's fine. I understand your logic, but why the hell do I care about exercise for my brain or exercise for my body? Why does that even matter? What does that analogy do for me? Let me tell you. You know that in order to keep your body in good shape and to keep your body from failing you, like if you don't want to have a heart attack, you don't want to get heart disease, you don't want your bones to start breaking every time somebody touches you, you don't want to run out of breath when you walk up the stairs, you don't want to fall deathly ill when you get the common cold, you don't want, I don't know, whatever other ailments could possibly come your way, and I'm sure you know about some that I'm not even thinking of right now. If you don't want those things to happen to your physical body, you take care of your body. You do some things for your body to keep you healthy, at least things that you think will keep you healthy based on your best judgment, right? You don't want to gain weight, at least not too much weight. You don't want to get sick. You don't want to have brittle bones to be in a position physically where you can't do things on your own. You're not going to want to need to wear a diaper when you're 35 years old because your body has fallen apart on you. Going to the gym and working out helps keep your body in shape. And usually people who go to the gym and work out usually at least are conscious of what you're putting in your body, whether that be the things you drink, the things that you eat, the thoughts that you think, the people you hang with. Even though you may not always make the best decision, you're at least conscious of it. Even when you're making a bad decision, you know you're making a bad decision. People who go to the gym, it usually goes hand in hand that they are at least conscious, again, of what they're putting in their body. Now, people who don't go to the gym, you may be completely unconscious of what they're putting in their body. I'm going to say they, because I'm going to assume if you are doing these things for your mind, I'm going to assume you probably at least do something for your body. Now, you may not be, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you may not be in the best shape in the world, but at least you're thinking about it. No, at least you're conscious of it. Maybe you haven't done anything about it yet, but you will, because I brought it to your consciousness right now by saying that. You're looking up a gym membership at this exact moment. But the same way that the gym takes care of your body, learning takes care of your mind. How about your memory? You want your memory to stay sharp so you can remember things from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, from your childhood as you grow older. Sharpness of thinking, being able to critically think about a situation, being able to offer something from your mind, even if you can't offer something from your body to another individual, such as a person who stops playing a sport and becomes a coach, or a person who never was an athlete in a certain thing, but they can help other people be great at doing that thing. Maybe they don't have the talent that the performers have, but they can help the people with the talent get to the level that they get to. That's a lucrative profession, coaching. How about that? How about problem solving? There's some type of challenge or issue that needs to be resolved. Who's a smart person in the group who can think critically on that situation and come up with some probable and logical resolutions that could maybe work. How about awareness? Just noticing what's going on around you, so that, again, that's all that can go under the umbrella of mental sharpness. How about just being alert? Again, that can go under the umbrella of mental sharpness. All of these are functions of the brain. Would you agree? Alertness, sharpness, problem solving, awareness, memory, critical thinking. All of these are functions of the brain. But I want you to understand something. The brain does not just work sharply and efficiently all through your life just by default. If you don't challenge the brain to work, if you don't make the brain do a job, if you don't put the brain on a treadmill, metaphorically speaking, if you don't make the brain lift some weights, metaphorically speaking, at some point, the muscle of the brain, and we know the brain is not actually a muscle, but you follow what I'm saying here, the muscle that is your brain, that muscle will atrophy. It will get weaker, it will whittle away, and there will be no muscle there. So then the one time when you're in an emergency and you need your brain to lift some weights for you, your brain is not in shape to lift any weights because you haven't been lifting weights. Your brain is not in shape to run a mile because you haven't been running any miles. Your brain is not in shape to bend and stretch because you haven't been doing any yoga. You haven't been keeping it flexible. You haven't been feeding your brain any water. You've been eating bad food with your brain. What do you think the brain's going to do when you call on it to perform when you haven't been preparing your brain to perform? Learning is basically taking your brain to the gym. Reading a book, listening to this masterclass right here, thinking critically about the things you hear from me or from anyone else, or the things that you read in the book, or the things that you learned at a seminar, or the things that you took down in your notes at a conference. All of those things are learning. Those are forms of learning. And all of those are forcing your brain to work. You're giving your brain some exercise. If you don't give your brain exercise, one day you will call on your brain to do some task, and your brain is going to say, listen, I'm not in shape for that because you haven't been working me out. You've been letting me sit on the couch and eat potato chips all day, every day for the last 5 years. Now you asking me to run a marathon. That ain't going to work, buddy. You got to make sure you are keeping your brain in the gym the same way you got to keep your body in the gym so it doesn't fall apart. And your brain will fall apart the same way that your body will fall apart. The difference between the brain and the body is you can see when your body's falling apart. You can see when another person's body is failing them. It's obvious. You can look at them and see it. When someone's brain is falling apart, it may not be as apparent. But when your brain starts falling apart, if you're not taking care of it, it will be apparent to you. You'll start noticing it. And by that time, it may be too late to do something about it. Learning gives you mentally also something to look forward to. You can think about, you'll be looking forward to rather, how your thinking will expand, how you can use what you learn. Plus, the more that you learn in life, the more you will want to learn and the more curious you'll become about what you see and what you hear because you're learning new things. If you learn more about the way architects build buildings, you'll look at buildings a different way. You learn more about the food that you eat, you'll look at the food that you eat a different way. You'll think differently when you go into a restaurant and you're perusing through the menu simply because you have more knowledge and more information about that thing. And because you've been learning about it, now you're more interested in it. The more you know about something, the more interested you become in it. As they say, when someone's trying to figure out what their talent or what their gift is in life, the better results you're getting at something, the more interested you get. Therefore, the harder you work. Therefore, the more results you get. It's kind of like a cycle that just keeps repeating itself. It works the same way with your learning. Getting better at something makes you want to keep getting better at it. Point number 2. Today's topic is falling in love with learning. Why you would actually want to do this and how to do it. Number 2, to create value in life. And all of us must create value. The only way you'll ever be able to have friends, only way you'll have people who are interested in you, people who will take your phone calls and respond to your texts and your emails, only way you'll ever be able to earn money, earn revenue, earn an income at a job even, is you must somehow, some way create value. In order to create value, you must have some value to give. Right? You can't give value to another person if you don't have any. You can't give what you don't have. Right? Everyone agree with that? So when we're talking on the mental side of things in life, if you are not learning, you will eventually run out of knowledge to share because at some point you're going to have told everything that you know. You're going to have emptied your brain of everything you have to offer. And it may not be that much if you've never been doing too much learning. If you're 30 and you haven't read a book since college, you might not have too much to offer anybody else. But if you continue to create value in your brain, then you won't run out of knowledge. Once you share a lot of things that you know, you'll be able to come up with some more ideas and some more ideas and some more ideas after that. You must continue to be a student in life in order to be a teacher in life. I just talked about this in masterclass number 14, 15. The competence of a teacher, yet the humility of a student. You want to have both. Having the humility of a student keeps you as a learner, keeps your mind open, and keeps you remembering that you don't know everything, while at the same time, the things that you learn, you can turn around, find an audience, a willing audience who needs it, and you can be a teacher to those individuals. You are competent enough and confident enough to teach certain people, while also being humble enough and having the humility to learn from some other people. There are people who know more than you in certain areas, there always will be. And there are people who know less than you in certain areas, there always will be. You find the areas that you want to learn more from and find the teachers. Find the areas that you want, that you know a good amount in and that you care about, and find the audience. Find the people, the students who are going to learn from you. When I was on YouTube back in the late 2000s rather, let's say around 2008, 2009, I got this idea. Why not just put a video out every day since I go to the basketball court every day? It was a great idea. The problem with that idea was I wasn't sure I could put out a video every day. I wasn't sure I had that many ideas. I might run out of ideas. That was what I was thinking. But what I found out was once I challenged myself, I thought I was going to, actually let me back up. I thought I was going to empty my brain of all the information I had about playing basketball. Everything I could possibly do, every drill I could do. I thought I might put them all out there within the next 2 weeks and I don't have anything else to give. But that was at the beginning of what became 7,000 plus videos I ended up putting on YouTube. Turns out I had more ideas than I thought that I did because I continued to learn. I continued to watch basketball, look at other players, see some other player do a move, maybe take a little piece from this guy, a little piece from that guy, put them together, create a third piece. That was my piece because I created it. Maybe take some pieces from what I was doing and say, oh, you know what? I could be creative and put these together in this new combination I haven't seen before. Now put something new out there into the game. So I was continuing to learn, which allowed me to continue to teach. But if I had not continued to learn, it would have been impossible for me to continue to creating the way that I've been creating. And even to this day, with this very show you're listening to right now, I wasn't sure how long I'd be able to keep this show going every single day. I mean, damn, how much stuff do I know that I could actually talk about every single day? I don't know. I didn't know I'd be able to keep it going 1,400 plus, and who knows how far we're going to keep this going. But the thing is this, one reason why I'm able to continuously put out new material on the mental game, on this whole work on your game philosophy, is because I continue to learn. You'll notice many episodes of the show, I will point out and give credit to people who may have supplied an idea that sparked a whole new episode of this show, or maybe take something that they put out a skeleton or something, I took it, fleshed it out, and made it into something that became mine, and something that I'm giving to you for you to learn from, because I am learning from other people. I'm not just sitting in some dark room like some evil genius and just ideas just popping into my head every day. That's not the way that it works. I learn, I observe, I listen, and all of those things I put together, and it comes out new material that you get here on the show. So you should be thankful for that. And if you want to be able to do that for some audience of people on some level, doesn't have to be on a podcast, doesn't have to be in any type of digital content. This could be out in the tangible world, one-on-one, dealing with other people. You must continue being a student in order to be qualified to teach. Again, that's masterclass number 1415 if you did not listen to that. The student mindset, ladies and gentlemen, is open to learning, which means you as the student version of you accepts the fact that there is something more for you to know, while the teacher version of you knows enough that you're willing to stand in front of a room and teach it. All right, that you need both. The best givers and creators of value in this world they also double as the best learners. You cannot continually give if you are not also continually expanding your capacity to take in material. You can't give material if you are not also taking in material. It is impossible. You will eventually run out. Point number 3. Today's topic is how to fall in love with learning. Point number 3 is you got to choose wisely, because you're getting everything I'm saying here about why you want to be a learner, why to fall in love with learning, the benefits of learning, how your ability to learn will turn around and also be the supplier, the feeder of your ability to teach. However, you can't learn everything. It's too much information for you to learn everything. You can't become an expert in every single subject that exists in the world. There are too many subjects. You would run out of time even trying to decide which subjects you're choosing amongst before you pick one. So you got to choose wisely. What do you want to learn? Don't just try to learn everything just because. In masterclass number 1139, I told you that it takes more than hard work to be successful in life. So what you must do is choose a subject which you will be good at and that you will want to continue learning at. Now, how will you know though? How do you know when you've chosen a subject that you're number one going to have some success at? You got some raw material that'll help you become successful at it, and something that you will actually want to keep learning at. How do you even find that out? Well, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself what your natural inclinations are. This is part of knowing yourself. You got to know who you are as a person to have some way of answering that question. What are my natural inclinations? What do I really like to do? What do I do when I don't have to do anything? Where do I go? Where do I spend my energy? Where's my attention going? You will love learning when you're getting some actual results from what you're doing and when you can see tangible progress from yourself. And you'll usually get that the quickest when you choose something in which you have some natural inclinations, some natural abilities where it's already set up. The game is already set up for you to win. In masterclass number 1430, I told you about choosing your education. All right, this was just recently. When I was forced to learn things, such as in school, and maybe you as well, I was only mediocre as a student. Not because I wasn't smart, not because I didn't understand the game, not because I couldn't do schoolwork and follow directions. I was a mediocre student because I was not interested in the majority of the subject matter that was being forced upon me. If I wanted to just get A's and I really wanted to dedicate myself and apply myself, I could have gotten A's, but I didn't because I didn't want to dedicate myself. I didn't want to apply myself because I wasn't that interested. But outside of school, when I get to choose my own education, I don't have that excuse available to me anymore. Because I can't say I'm not interested in something that I chose to learn about. I can't say I'm not interested in basketball when I'm in the gym every day. It doesn't make any sense. All right, so outside of school, you get to choose your education. So you don't have the problem of being disinterested in the topic. When I got to choose what books I want to read and I get to choose what topics I want to study, I do a whole lot better with that. So as you notice, in this work on your game philosophy, there are certain topics that I talk about here. Discipline, confidence, mental toughness, personal initiative. I give you examples from the sports world, examples from the entrepreneurship world, examples from the business world. These are things that I'm interested in. If you look at my bookshelf, that's what you're going to see. Personal development, human psychology, business, sports. You're going to see books that are related to those subjects because that's what I'm interested in. I chose my education. And I like to think that I chose wisely. What do you think? Let's recap today's topic, which is how to fall in love with learning. I told you in masterclass number 1290 when to choose learning over earning. And these studies, 42% of college graduates never read another book after college. 80% of U.S. families did not buy or read a book last year. 70% of U.S. adults have not been in a bookstore in 5 years. 50% of new books are not read to completion. So people go buy the book, don't even read it. Now, books are not the only way to learn, of course. But I'm using books as a basic example because anyone who wants to learn, anybody I know who's interested in learning, they read books. I don't know anybody who learns a lot, but they don't read books. It doesn't make any sense. Definition of learning is the acquisition of knowledge or skills through experience, study, or by being taught. You can't learn everything through experience. You will run out of time. You will run out of talent. And you can only be in one place at a time. But you can learn through studying other people or being taught by other people. So don't think you have to go do everything yourself. Learn from other people's experiences, other people's knowledge. As I said at the beginning, Hov did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. Today, I'm selling you on falling in love with learning. And of course, I'm going to tell you why you would want to do such a thing. Point number one, learning is exercise for the brain the way the gym is exercise for the body. If you don't take care of your body will fall apart. You won't be able to get out of bed. You'll be rolling around in a wheelchair. You won't be able to enjoy your life, even if you're still alive. If you let your brain fall apart because you are not learning, you are not giving it exercise, you will not have mental acuity, mental sharpness. You won't be able to solve problems. You will not be aware. You will not be awake. You will not be alert. Even if your body feels great, you won't be able to do anything with it because you don't know what the hell is going on because your brain's falling apart on you. So you don't want either one of these to fall apart. Treat them equally. I would actually value the brain even more than the body. Learning gives you mentally something to look forward to. You'll be thinking about how your thinking is going to expand, how you can use what you learn. Plus, the more you learn, the more you want to learn. That's just the way that it works in life. The better you get, the better you want to get. Point number two, to create value and share value in life, you must have some value to give. You cannot give what you don't have. So if you're not learning, you'll eventually run out of knowledge to share because you have emptied everything that's in your brain, or you have given everything that you know. But if you continue to learn, you can continue to give. The same way with this show right here. I continue to learn. That's why I continue to give. The things that I'm talking about today on this masterclass, I was not qualified to talk about 4 years ago when this masterclass began. But because I continue to learn between 2016 and now, I am qualified to continue to teach. And 5 years from now, when this masterclass is still going, knock on wood, I will continue to be able to teach things that I could not teach today simply because between now and 5 years from now, I will continue to be a learner. I will continue to read, continue to study, continue to learn from other people who have done things that I don't have to do because they went through them and learned them for me, so I don't have to give my time, my most valuable resource, to getting that experience. Point number three, choose wisely. Masterclass 1139. It takes more than hard work to be successful. Choose a subject that you'll be good at and will want to continue learning at. You got to choose wisely before you start working hard at your learning. How do you know where you're choosing wisely? Ask yourself, what are my natural inclinations? Where do I have some natural gifts that will help me be successful? Something that I'm already interested in naturally, that if I apply myself to, I'll get even better at that thing. That's the question you must ask, and you must come up with an answer. You will love learning when you're getting actual results and you can see tangible progress from yourself. I talked about this just in Masterclass number 1430, the subject, choosing your education. When I was forced to learn things in school, I was a mediocre student because I was not interested in the material. But now, when I get to choose my own books, I get to choose the classes that I take, I get to choose the conferences I go to, I get to choose the people I learn from. I don't have that as an excuse. I wouldn't want to have that as an excuse. I have reasons to keep learning rather than excuses like we talked about in yesterday's Masterclass, because I'm interested in the subject matter. Why? Because I chose it. Magic formula. Work on your game. Dre, all